talking to you through this hour, the next. I am spending the most valuable currency here today. It's my time. It's the time of my life. Once spent, I'm not going to recover it, right? So I request you to be with me the next 15-20 minutes that we're going to talk about. If I am investing my portion of life, so are you. There is a reason we are here today together in this room, right? So be present and let's discover the purpose that we have. We've established, the lowest levels on the Maslow's hierarchy. Anybody knows what Maslow's motivation levels are? Somebody? Oh, you do? Good. On the bottommost level of that hierarchy, it's basically talking about how you motivate yourselves. What are the levels of motivation? Are just physiological factors. Then elevates to social, then elevates to, safety, social, self-esteem, self-actualization. And it is believed, theory argues, that we move through different hierarchies through the course of our lives. We've already established, I'm trying to build an entire spectrum from people who do not have anything, who go by on a day-to-day basis, versus the rulers, the mighty kings that have been. What was their purpose in life? Do you think the purpose, okay, we've established, the purpose of somebody like Pahad is to manage 2 square meals a day? Maybe. Your purpose in life or your vocation in life right now is to find a way to make money, to find yourself some education, some degree where you can go make money and make your parents proud. The purpose of these rulers was starkly different. They wanted to create mega structures. The Roman Colosseum, the Angkor Wat, the many buildings that you have seen, Mughal architecture that you have studied about. What was the purpose of any of those buildings? They just wanted to leave an indelible mark in history books. They just wanted, this was a quest for immortality basically. I as a king had nothing to do but leave my mark on something, make a sculpture, right? And let people know me by that sculpture. We know Shah Jahan because of Taj Mahal. Otherwise maybe it would have been lost to time, right? Ozymandias comes to the fore. You've all read Shelley's sonnet, right? How did it begin? I'm Ozymandias, king of kings. And yet what happened? There were 2 broken stumps of legs, that the traveler saw. It all boils down to, piece of nothing. Isn't it? How do we call that? What you are living for, what you're striving for, being in the rat race, trying to make amends, trying to make some money in the long run, what will it all amount to? All the greatest rulers, everybody that has lived through the history of the mankind. Do we know everybody? You are memorable only till the last person who remembers you, as alive. Isn't it? Naam gum jayega. Right? People who want beauty, there are sections of society, there are men, women who vie for eternal youth. Right? Do we remember who was Miss Universe 5 years ago? Do we? A Miss Universe or any other beauty pageant is an annual event, which means the person today who stands for being the most beautiful woman on the planet. Universe is a misleading concept though, but yeah, she is as good as only for 12 months before the next one comes in. Right? How do we call? What are we running for? मैं पल दुपल का शायर हूँ. No? Do we agree? Please let me know if you're bored to death, and I'll take up some interesting other stories, a lot of experiences on these things. But here again, it's not about me talking to you, it is about you asking yourself these questions. Zone out. I don't want you to be present here. The purpose is more important, which is you needing to ask these questions to yourself. It is important, and I'll tell you why. Wealth, opulence, everything goes away. Heard of Mozart? the famous composer. Anybody fan of Sammy Davis Jr.? They're all great musicians, died penniless. So no matter how much wealth you accumulate, we know Ambani's today, we know Anant Ambani, right? We know Mukesh Ambani, we know Dhirubhai Ambani. Anybody remembers who his grandfather was? Why? I was watching this interesting reel where you're talking about Messi was in India, right? The famous footballer. There were tickets for 10,000 rupees just to see him from 2 kilometers away, right? What happened? It's a famous reel. It's not my content. I saw it, and I find reason to believe it. Anant Ambani took him to watch a zoo. You're paying 10,000 rupees to watch him from a distance. He took him to the zoo, made him, put milk on a shivling. All the money, right? It's important. Money is only a hygiene factor. If you have it, you feel clean. If you don't have it, you stink. But how much is what is worth, what is needed, is something that you must ask yourself. Again, we'll touch upon it and talk about this on a slightly different level. I established something about Maslow, calling about his pyramid of motivation. What me and my team did here today was try to give you a quick talisman, a quick tool to find out your purpose, help you evaluate and read through the purpose of life. We're calling it the compass of purpose. It's going to be interesting, I promise. There's a disclaimer though. Once you understand this tool, once you are able to work through this, you will not be able to go back. It's the red pill in Matrix. How many of you have seen Matrix? See the reality which is perceived. Remember on the first slide I talked about question perceived realities. What is real? What is a myth? You already established you are here because you were born this way, at which you had no, role in. So there has to be something bigger, right? It has to go beyond us. Have you ever wondered what could that be? What could that purpose be? Are we on this planet just to consume and live as parasites to the world, to the planet? There's a famous theory which says human beings are the biggest parasite on the face of the earth. I believe in it. We are here to procreate, we are here to consume, multiply, and then just finish off all the resources that we have in our ecosystem. And we've been doing it continent after continent. Haven't we? Through the history, through time. What sets us apart? Who we want to be. Again, I'm not trying to make it a religious sermon, I'm not trying to make it a political sermon. Please be with me on this. We want to understand this compass of purpose because it will help you evolve and put any occupation that you want to pursue in any of the 4 quadrants that the compass rests in. You're defined as that 4 different quadrants. I'm keeping it way open. I'm going to present this to you and debunk it right here next to you. There's power, there's fame, money, and spirituality. Not necessarily in any particular order, but you like to call it spirituality, power, fame, and money. Think about it. Let's do a quick exercise here. Any occupation that you think, anything, whatever you're being training for, whatever your passion is, or you think your passion is, whatever that you want to study, what you want to pursue, the stream of education that you want to take. Dr. Shweta Tamar was here before me. She is a medical student, very renowned in names. All occupations, even medical professions, can be put on as a spec, as a value of a scatter diagram on this quadrant. If you become a very good doctor, you will have all the money. If you are really, enthusiastic about your work, you want to lead teams, you have the power, right? Fame comes along with the work that you're doing. She's here today, she's already, a known face now to 150 people that we're here. Any occupation that you pick, call it, whatever that you're thinking of, doing in your life, you will be able to plot it on one of these quadrants based on what effort are you willing to put in. What is the cost to that pursuit? This is important to know because this drives what I believe is the entire mankind. We aspire for being in one of these quadrants. All of these quadrants, all may be at some level wanting one thing above the other. There could be a role where you would want money more than anything in life. You can find ways to make it. In the current society that we live in the India that we reside, it's not difficult to make money. Multi-millionaires just flying about Gurgaon, right? No?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? So think about this, do this little exercise with me. In your head, for whatever education, whatever role that you're studying for, whatever you're passionate about, see where you fit in. What path are you willing to take? We talked about medical profession. Of course, it is a noble profession. There could be a way where, I would be telling myself as a doctor, see, I became doctor because I want to serve humanity. I would take up my role in a village where people do not have access to medical facilities, and people do that. So that is an aim towards spirituality, isn't it? Your vocation and the education will want you in a certain bracket based on what the voice in your head tells you. Do we agree? Yes? No? So having established these 4 quadrants, let's try and debunk each of these. There is a cost associated to each of these quadrants, and you need to understand. You need to question it here today with me. Have we established that our occupations will fall in any of these quadrants? Our occupation will be marked as a plotting point on any of these graphs. If we talk about the very first quadrant here, spirituality. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Everybody knows Buddha, Gautam Buddha? We do, right? We've heard the name, even if you don't know the story. We have, right?
Yes, sir.
Come on!
Yes, sir.
What did Gautam Buddha do? We all know the lore behind it, that he saw an ailing man, a dead man, and one day at night he just went off, leaving all renunciation is what we call. He left everything away and just went off in the jungles to find his calling. What was he aspiring for? Spirituality? A break from the cycle? Anybody have you ever thought what happened to his wife? Do you even know the name? Yashodhara. What happened to Yashodhara? Imagine this. Now, I am Yashodhara. I am the queen. I have done my daily chores. I have been, and I just want to go rest and lie next to my husband, who is a prince, Prince Siddharth. I finish up everything, wind up my kitchen, come down, play with my kid. Buddha's son was called Rahul. Right? And she's absolutely clueless about what's going to happen. She comes, she sits, maybe she falls asleep. And the next morning when she wakes up, the husband's gone. Who's paying the price for Buddha's spirituality? Yashodhara did. And we don't talk about her. Your purpose can drive someone else's life, knowingly, unknowingly. Buddha has been I'm not very religious either, but I'm not trying to debunk his teachings. There is a destiny which lies in, which has a path for all of us. But don't you think that Yashodhara would have gone through all those 5 stages of grief herself? We know about the 5 stages, do we?
Yes,
Yeah. The first outset she would have been, yeah. Why did it happen to me? She must have been angry at Buddha, no? As a husband. She did not know Buddha. She married Siddharth, Prince Siddharth, right? The morning she wakes up, the husband's gone. What is she thinking? She must be angry. My astrologist said my Kundli is perfect with Prince Siddharth. He is going to be a great Chakravarti Samrat, or he is going to be a great monk. But why me? Why couldn't it be just a great husband? Maybe she did not want anything else. Right? There is a cost to this. We all talk and we all revere and respect Buddha in the entire Southeast Asia. Yashodhara found her calling maybe after, Prince Siddharth left. We aspire, we talk about Buddha having conquered the past, present, and future. What is past? It's a regret. What is present? It's an accomplishment. What is future? It's a desire. Right? And for what? And Yashodhara had lost the concept of time then. For her, there was no past, there was no present, there was no future. Because one thing she relied on all her life is gone. The cost to spirituality. Power. I don't need to even dwell upon this. We all have heard and read about the British colonial rule. Many movies have talked about it. One film, one most emphatic episode from the colonial history is the famine of Bengal. Heard about it? Read about it?
Yes, sir.
1943. What Winston Churchill did?
Yes, sir.
You know about it?
Yes, sir.
What was he aspiring for? He wanted power. He wanted to rule. The Britishers wanted to rule the country for as long as they could. Strip off the country from all the resources that they could manage. What did Churchill achieve when he routed the food that was essential for the civilians here to the military aid? And despite knowing that there was enough, how many people did he kill eventually?
30 million.
30 million. Is it on the slide? No. Approximately 2.5, 3 million actually. 3 million people, 3 million lives. What if you were one of those people? Pre-independence era, a child who, or a father who could not feed his children because somebody in power decided to route the food someplace else. We all know about Adolf Hitler. Genocides, mass graves, 70 million people gone again. These are the costs to these squadrons. Again, the questions that we want to ask, the reason I'm talking about all of these, I said, your occupation can be plotted in one of these quadrants, and I'm trying to debunk each one of them, giving you the hard, black face of what lies behind these quadrants. Why? Because you wake up, question yourself on a daily basis. What are you doing with it? What are you doing with the privilege that you have? Talking to friends about having a Tim Hortons is not, the purpose. Right? Tim Hortons in your age? I find the coffee very excellent. Very quickly. This, I think, somebody will relate to. We are living in an age of 15 minutes of fame. A flash in the pan. Instagram celebrities. I'll leave you with a message to be anchored, find an anchor in your present, thrive in your purpose. Do not like, follow, subscribe, like your work, follow your passion, and subscribe to your sound principles. I've provided